Derek, Derek, here. Wait, here.
Okay,
amazing performance, congratulations. Did you expect such a quick fight? You know, like you knock out, you defeated Yoda Machida by knockout in the first round. Did you expect such a quick finish?
No, Machida's been fighting a long time, and he's one of those guys who don't have a lot of holes in his game. If you have a less experienced fighter, like a lot of the guys that's ranked under me who are younger fighters, I feel I can dismantle them, you know, take them down. But I see Yoda was very ready for the takedowns. I saw a lot of his training videos, a lot of his open workouts, and he's been around for a while and been in a big fight. So I wasn't expecting a quick finish. I was kind of like, you know, I was going to take my time. It would have came out here to Brazil, and it would have went the distance, and I would have lost the decision. You know, I just had to live with it, but I was definitely going to fight my fight.
And in the post-fight interview, you mentioned Luke Rockhold. Is that a real wish for you up next?
Yeah, for sure. Why not? Luke Rockhold is 1 or 2 in the division. I'm sure the media have a lot to say about Machida coming back, you know, saying maybe, you know, he lost a little bit, but I don't buy into that. He's the same guy. He does the same thing he's been doing his whole career. He's just able to get out of the way most of the time, but this time he wasn't.
We talked a little bit about this before, and you mentioned that you weren't really that concerned about the atmosphere and being like the villain here and things like that. But once you got here, how was just really we saw how it was in the arena. It was very intense. Just how was overall the experience for you?
It was great. It's funny because I said, I think Kobe helped me out a lot. He was being such a rude boy that the crowd was like, hey, we'll give this guy a fair shake. But I like Brazil. Brazil's a beautiful country. I went to Fortaleza once, and it was right by the beach, so that was really cool. I was supposed to fight then. My opponent got in an accident, so I just ate seafood the whole time. And it's pretty cheap, so I loved it. But it was a great experience. The crowd supported their fighter. I expect them to do nothing less, but like I said, they can't jump in the octagon and fight, so it didn't matter.
You did mention that maybe after Kobe they would give you a fair shake, and really we got really different reactions. Even I guess before he was saying all the things that he said, obviously he called us like filthy animals or whatever. And then when you knocked out Machida, it was like dead silent. Was that surprising to you at all?
No, funny enough, I have a weird career. I take weird fights, I do weird things. But early on in my career, I started off 4-0, and I had all knockouts in the first round, so nobody in North Carolina wanted to fight me, so I had to go to other people's territory and fight them. I fought in Florida, I fought in Rhode Island, and it was all in the person's backyard. And I was able to get like a 15-second finish over a guy who was pretty good, and the whole crowd was silent. So I'm kind of used to that feeling after you know, go to someone home and get a first-round finish.
You talked about Luke Rockhold, but at the same time, and this is also something you've talked about before, it's a difficult division to even like assess where you're at and what you're going to do next, considering all the variables. Considering what you just did, you just knocked out Machida in his hometown. You know, in these conditions, the guy was the next champ. But then you have all the other variables. He was coming off a long layoff. How is he placed in the division? So really, where does this win put you in the UFC's middleweight division?
You know, funny, I like the reporters to talk about what it actually is. You look at Yoda. His last fight, he lost to Romero. Close fight, up until Romero was able to take him down and get the finish. Very close fight. The fight before that, I don't know who did he fight, maybe Chris before that? And then
Rockhold.
Rockhold, right, yeah, Rockhold was able to get him, and before that he fought Musasi, and I believe he beat Musasi 3 rounds to 0, and Musasi beat Chris Ryman right before he left the UFC. So, like I said, people might lose a little bit of timing, speed, but the skill set is always going to be there. Like, I think Machida can wake up when he's 50 and still hit the same katas and throw the crazy kicks. I watched him in open workouts, and he looked pretty impressive.
But then at the same time, you talked about the skills and how he could have lost a little bit of his timing and a little bit of just his control of the cage and things like that. And then, but also that's a big part of his skill set, don't you think, in terms of his style?
I think, funny enough, he's like I fought a guy similar. Well, I fought Anderson, and Anderson's really tricky. And I fought a guy also, Uriah Hall, who's similar to Leo. Yoda. They're both karate style, and they both pull a lot. So he does the same things that I noticed in his tape. He's one of the guys, it's hard to reach him with the punches, but it's easier with the kicks. And he always try to blitz you with the straight left, and I was able to slip the straight left and catch him with a hook, which he's been doing that his whole career. He'll blitz you with a straight left, but I was able to counter.
You called out Rockhold after the fight. What aspects of this matchup interesting you the most? You called out Rockhold after the fight. What aspects of this matchup interests you the most?
He's a top level guy. You know, he's 1 or 2 in the division. I think it'd be a great matchup, you know. I think I could put hands on him, touch that chin one time, I could put him down also.
Do you think a win over him would put you in a position to fight for the title next?
Oh yeah, for sure. A win over Rockhold would definitely get me next in the title shot. I mean, the media sleeps on me a lot, but what I've done in the UFC, what I've done over my career, a lot of crazy. I mean, I had a controversial decision over Anderson. You know, let's say I get that win, that takes away a loss. Romero, I was beating him 2 rounds to 0. I was dominating the whole fight. He was able to catch me with a punch with about a minute left. If I would have just danced around for a minute, I would have got that win, you know. There's several fights in my career. You know, Whitaker, I touched him a lot. He touched me a lot. You know, I rocked him. He rocked me. He was able to get the win if I would have slowed down a little bit. So I definitely had a crazy career, but I'm starting to put it together and starting to, you know, take my time and know that I can really do some damage if I just slow down just a little bit.
Were you already planning on calling him out, or seeing DC in front of you reminded you of him and you called him down?
Yeah, you know what? I wasn't planning on calling Rockhold out. I didn't have anybody in mind. It just kind of came to me at the last minute, and I was like, okay, that'll be a good guy to fight next.
Boa noite, parabéns pela vitória.
Good evening, congrats on your win.
O Anderson Silva vencendo na
Anderson
China.
Silva winning in
Pode ser
China.
cogitada uma nova luta com ele para
Do you
limpar
consider
o
another
card,
fight
da
with
derrota,
him
ou
to
já é passada essa
receive
derrota
that?
para o Anderson?
Or
Que você
are you
mesmo
past
disse
that?
que acreditou ter vencido.
You believe you won.
Yeah, I grew up watching Anderson Silva. It's funny, every time I make a reference to that fight, the fans will definitely remind me that Anderson is their favorite fighter and not me. They'll be like, hey, get over it. So, you know, I've had 2 first-round finishes since that fight. I definitely know that I won that fight, but it's done and it's gone. So I guess it's time to move on, you know. It's time to really start working my way down to the top, you know. In the rankings, yeah, let me jump him and then we'll forget about it, because definitely, you know, a performance like that against a guy like Yoda, I think, you know, should deserve to jump a couple people.